Hello, everybody. Today I have two decks that I have made out of the 5 packs I opened yesterday of set 5. So all of it is just set 5 cards. This was an extremely difficult process as with a limited amount of cards there isn't too much you can do. I tried to give general goals like mouth 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 and spear spear, but otherwise it's just kind of a collection of cards that sort of help them but sort of not. It was once again, it was really hard. Also, warning, I have not play tested these decks, which means that they might be and probably are bad. But I'd like to show you what I created from my limited pool. Starting out with the Mouth Mouth deck, I decided to do Sindel as there's a lot of Sindel cards in here, and the ability is really, really good for that. So, starting up, we have Mouth Mouth, 2 copies of that, and the whole goal of this deck is to be able to put down as many battle zones as possible, kill all the Shios creatures, and then be able to sweep at the end, as well as, gaining points before that. Next, I have Firebolt Inari, a great strong card that will be helpful to displace cards from the other deck, and yeah, it's just a very good card. Then I have 2 Macrabablag just for the Shios stuff, but also it's just a good card. It can swing for 2, and it's a 2-star. Then I have 1 copy of Scoria Carrier, which is good to play off of Shios sometimes, but otherwise it's just for the Shios stuff. Truba, same thing. It's really just used for the Shios stuff, and so's Wick. They aren't really good cards, especially in this deck, but yeah. Then I decided to put in Inox of Barrow because it's a really great Chaos Beast. It can withstand anything, and it's good for stalling. Then I have Pointosaurus, which is a good way to just get some quick and easy points. Then I've included in both decks Mool, just as like a kind of an emergency situation type of card. Then for the Sindel cards, we start off with Darkspark Diabolus. It's a good card to quickly get some of these Shios creatures out of the way, and just general cards so that we can run through that deck. And also gains a lot of stars so that, we are able to get those battle zones and stuff. And that's kind of the entire thing. Some of these cards are going to be used to gain stars to get zones or just zone gaining cards. Speaking of zone gaining cards, we have Bunangry, which is a good card specifically for Darkspark's ability. Next, we have 2 copies of Blade Demon. These are good ones as well because they're just very strong 4-stars and can be used in times of like vulnerability and stuff. Skelequeen is just a generally strong card. It is really weak in the health stat, but just good for getting quick, easy points or something. Chanek combos with a couple of cards that I'll show later. And so it's just a really good card to use to kind of get stronger cards out. Oh, like Blade Demon too. Then we have 1 Lightning Squaz just to be able to do some quick removal. Then we have 2 Sapling Squazes to get those quick and easy stars. We have Feathammer, which is good for Chainek as well. And it's also just good because then it doesn't have to move into a battle zone, although that is kind of just useless. And then we have Clutter, which is specifically good for gaining stars, especially off of Darkspark. And then Kalaka, which is good at getting one of these guys back out. And then another card that's good for Chainek is Warrior from a Strange Galaxy. I included both the copies that I got. And it's just a strong creature that can kind of do the same thing as Fifth Hammer, except it has more health. And then we have, finally, Zamorzed, which is just a good, strong Polysium creature, and yeah, it gains you a zone and stuff. And then Soul Shroom is good because it allows you to free play a creature, and since there's a lot of different creatures from a lot of different planets, this one is really good. Angry Totem, I included this in both decks as well because it's just a good card for removal. Life Force Blade is a good card as it can cancel some of the abilities in here. And it's also good for gaining extra power because this deck kind of, it's either get the mouth combo out or just go full aggro and try to sweep them. Starkin, good for gaining stars for those zones and stuff. Planet Power is good for more of that aggro stuff. Crimson Grenade is just good for general removal, just in case Mouth gets targeted. And then Star Boost is good for just in case you use a bunch of stars in one turn and then stuff like that. And finally, Altar of Alignment, which is just a zone gaining card. This is kind of, I'd call it like a Mouth aggro deck. Basically just aggro and then using Mouth when possible. On the other side, ironically, we're going to do Syndian, which is connected to Sindel. Syndian's ability is really only good for the combo here, which is Spear, and the goal is to rack up Spear through means, and then other doing stuff. I think this is the weaker of the two, but we'll see. And then we have two Beasts of the Conjurers. These are good zone gaining ones, and these are good for just Spear, protecting Spear. Same thing for the Army of Justice, although it's really more of just a general card. It's a really strong card, can take 2 hits, and also there's a lot of Barrow and Gas creatures in here as well, which this can do some cool stuff with too. Firebolt, I had an extra copy. It's just a good card, good strong card for this thing to have. Mool, as I said, just a good card in emergency situations. Calamask is good for removing some of these pesky attachments and resources and stuff. And this is a decent Barrow card. Avalanche is good for getting those strong creatures out of the way that we all hate. And it's also just a strong creature itself. 2 Lightning Squazes, good for removal of these strong creatures. Planet Racer is kind of bouncing off of this, as well as it's a very balanced 5-star creature that's pretty cool. Stakron is good for the Combiner, and it's just a decent card as well. Temagrob is a strong Gaius creature. Trebite is good for removing the ability to play activators and stuff. So that's really helpful. Skither, just a generally nice card. And then there's Cystium of the Red Rose, which is good for getting Trebite out twice. And it's just a decent card. Then we have all the Scardians that I got. Scardian of the Sun is just a good, strong attacker. And although the abilities can't be really used, Scardian of the Moons is just, yeah, they're good blockers and attackers. And then finally, Droplet Squaws is just a good draw card to get those cards out. 2-star Temple is for searching Spear. 2 Jars of Skleeches to get rid of those pesky attachments. Mystical Relic, Ancient Coins is good for if you get like a bad hand, which I feel like you'll get a lot with this deck. Angry Totem, good card. Lost Souls is good for just reviving because there's less creatures in this deck than the other deck, so that's good. Torture Torch weakens these guys so that maybe weaker creatures on this end can be able to attack. I include 2. The Daily Chaos is a good passive way to do stuff, especially with this type of thing where it can't really hit as hard. Cannon Stride is good as it forces the opponent to attack the other creature, which is absolutely amazing. Ultimate Doom, if they ever try to go for 2 big, strong creatures, we'll have them ready. And then Meteor Blaster is a good way to stop the other player from trying to remove our attachments. I don't know why I included this. Overall, again, these decks are probably pretty bad, but I did the best that I could do. Tell me what you think about these decks, and tell me if I should do more of these decks. As always, links to everything are down below for the Chaos Galaxy YouTube channel, the Discord, and check out these cards, buy some, maybe do some deck building of your own. It's pretty fun, and it gets your creative juices flowing. I'd say my prediction is if these two were to go into a fight, this one would win, but that's just my theory. Anyways, have a good day, and remember that happiness is a warm puppy.